get a lot of questions about the equipment. And to begin with, the equipment is the real deal. It's not reproductions or anything else, which means that this press is going on 170 some odd years, and it's probably better for machinery like this to be used gently than to just let it sit and who knows what. But what we have here, one of our primary presses, this is a Washington hand press. Was invented by a fellow named Samuel Rust in the 1830s. It became the quintessential printing press used in the United States. The bed is large enough that we can do 2 pages of a newspaper. One of the things that make this a Washington hand press is what we call the figure 4 toggle. Actually, if you were looking at that from the back side, you would definitely see a figure 4 there. There's the vertical, the angled out piece, and the cross piece here. And it works by pulling this lever and causes this portion of the press to go down with great force. This press was built in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1852. Came out to Sacramento somewhere along that line. The history of a printing press is really hard to follow exactly because they did move around. I do know that at some point in time, it ended up at the Grabhorn Press in San Francisco. This was a fine arts press operated in the 1920s and 30s. Eventually, it became surplus to them, and they were aware of Eleanor McClatchy's interest in printing history and things like that. So they gave her first right of refusal, and Eleanor decided to jump at the chance to get a hold of this press and add it to her collection. She had many printing press in her collection. This one is very artistic. It's nicely decorated. There's a kind of a goldish wash highlighting the thing. The plaque here says Charles Foster and Brother, Cincinnati, Ohio, and the number of this press is 474. I showed you basically how it worked. The bed of the press, as I said, if it's configured correctly, you can do 2 pages of the newspaper. So somebody on that side would be inking the form. The operator on this side would be attaching a sheet of paper up here, and they would close it, run the bed in, make the pull, run the bed out, open the press. At this point, the operator on that side would be running a very long roller across it, and I would take the printed sheet off, put the next piece of paper on, and the 2 operators were supposed to cycle that 4 times a minute. So they were hustling quite a lot there, and they might swap off one going on that side and the other one coming over on this side to operate it, just to break up the day and stuff, because you can imagine if you have a press run of 1,000 newspapers, it's going to take you an awful lot of work.